once again for the renegade master. Back 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 once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades, and we are back and we are getting into Love is Blind Brazil season 3 episode 6. So as it leaves off, we're just going to go straight in into the juicy bits. So as it leaves off, we know that Agatha and Hainan are literally, well, Agatha's more, having a go at Hainan because he's got this organizer on his wall, and within the organizer there's an entry from the ex-girlfriend, which I believe is the one where he finished with 4 months ago, way before he came into the show. So basically she's going on at him because she believes that because he knew of whoever was going to pick would come to his flat as the new person, she shouldn't be seeing that. He should have got rid of it, wiped it off. Or she's having a go, saying that, even your friends couldn't have mentioned it, and for you to wipe it off and this, that and the other. And she believes she's justified in the way that she's feeling. Now, you guys will have to let me know what you think and feel about this. Do you think she's justified in the way that she's feeling because she's walked into his space? Remember, it's his space. His organizer on the wall. This was a message left there probably way before these people had broken up. So it's been there for a good while. And it's just been left there. He didn't think to wipe it off. Now, me, myself, would I think to wipe it off thinking I'm going to have someone coming into my space and be offended by it? No, I wouldn't think that way. That's how I think. But Agatha believes she's justified in the way that she's thinking and feeling. And I'm just like, my God, if this is what I'm getting right now, would I really be trying to walk down the aisle with you and saying yes to you? I don't think so. I don't think, in my heart of hearts, it couldn't go on. It could not, we could never. I mean, she honestly believes she's justified in this feeling. And you got poor Hainan sitting there, doesn't know what to say. She's then asking him, well, what have you got to say about it? So he turns around and rubs the entry off. So then he turns around and says, by rubbing the entry off, he believes that it made matters worse. Yeah, damn right it did. It made matters even worse. So again, he's quiet. So again, she keeps on going on and on and on. And then he apologizes. And I'm like, but what the hell are you apologizing for? Because a girl that he knew in his past, albeit, yeah, they split up for 4 months, but this was way before Agatha was even thought of or on the scene, or even before we even got to Love is Blind. And she's having a moan because that message was left on there. And she's like, well, couldn't you have wiped it off before you came? You didn't wipe it off before you came to the show? No, we didn't, because he probably forgot it was fucking up there. That's why. And I'm like, I really don't think she's justified. So after he's apologised, Hainan takes the whole board, and then she's like, oh no, you didn't need to take the whole board off. My girl, he should have just burnt the fucking thing with the way you were going on. What did you want him to do? He apologised, he was still going on, so we took the board off the wall and was walking out the flat with it. She said, you don't have to take the board off because you obviously don't get the point. It's not about the board, it's not about this, it's not about that. And I'm like, well, please tell us what the point is, because I'm with Hainan. I clearly don't understand the point you're trying to make. I don't get where this whole combative shit is coming from. So please help us to understand where it is you're coming from, Agatha, because Hainan did it. We clearly didn't either. But as again, you let me know what you think in the comments, because I thought it was overkill. I honestly thought it was proper overkill, man. And it made me look at Agatha as if to say, yeah, nah, I would have my guards up around you, because really, well and truly, this little jealous streak that you've got going on, nah, man, not an a month of Sundays. So then we go to Val and Karen, and they go to Val's place, and oh my God, he's showing her around and Karen's starting already. I thought Agatha was bad, man, but bloody hell. So They get into the living room. She's complaining about the stains on his sofa. So she ain't gonna sit on that sofa. He's gonna need to get a new sofa because she doesn't know if that's bodily fluids from other women because he's had a lot of women. And I'm like, did these people not realise that these people have had a past? I mean, come on. Do you think that they were literally being virginal and waiting to meet you on Love is Blind before they did anything in their flat with anybody? Be realistic. These people are not realistic. They've had a past. They've done things in their own space. So for you to come in and start complaining, well, the sofa was dirty, to be fair. When they zoomed in, you could see the stain on the side. Yes, so the sofa was dirty, to be fair. But albeit it's his place at the end of the day, because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, if he'd have walked into her place saying X, Y, and Z the way Karen was saying her shit to him, she wouldn't have not have liked it. She would not have liked it. Anyway, so they move on past the sofas. They move to the bedroom, and like he's showing her around the room, getting her to sit down on the bed, and she's like, "Is that what you tell all the other women, to calm them down, to come sit on the bed?" And I'm like, my Lord God, woman, give it a break. Like, give it a break. Seriously. So, the funny thing is he's then going through the cupboards, like through the wardrobe, showing her the space and this, that, and the other. He opens the top drawer and there's a pair of ladies' knickers in there and he shuts it pretty quickly. And I'm like, Rosie, is that how you're going on, Val? Now, see, that shit is worse than a bloody notice board because this is actual ladies' apparel he's got in his drawers. Do you know what I mean? So that shit is worse to the notice board than me. But Karen didn't see it because he shut it pretty quickly. So then he goes down to the next drawer and opens that drawer and it's got a fucking lady's jacket in it. So he couldn't move that beforehand. It's got so you got a pair of briefs, a lady's knackers in it, and now a lady's jacket, and he shut that quickly. And then Karen's standing there clocking him as if to say, why is he shutting the drawer so quickly? What is he hiding? What has he got in there? So he's shitting himself. He's basically shitting himself because he's shutting them bloody drawers like flash on speed, man, I'm telling ya. So she turns around and says, why are you shutting them so quickly? Open them up. Have you got something to hide? So he opens it up and then shuts it back. So she has a look and she's like, oh, she didn't notice. She did not notice what he had left in them drawers. And if she had, then I would say she's more in her rights to have a go at him than Agatha is to have a go at Hannah over a fucking post on a fucking notice board, to be fair. Because if you'd have found women's used knickers and their jacket in your man's drawers, then yes, you have something to say about it. So basically, they then go into the bath. She shows in the bathroom, everything's fine. Then they go to the kitchen, and again with the shit. So he opens up the cupboard. She's like, oh, you nice gin glasses. He's got one gin glass, and then she looks down by the sink. And then there's 2 gin glasses by the sink. She was like, so who else have you had in here to have 2 gin glasses? And I'm like, what, the man couldn't go to the shop? Because when you go to the shop and you normally buy your gin glasses, you either get him a box of 4 or a box of 2. So he couldn't go to the shop and just get 2 gin glasses just because. I mean, Val's whole face was like, shit. I don't, like, he just did not know what to say at all in the response of the shit that he was getting back from Karen at the end of the day. But I know it was nausing the hell out of him because we all know why he's got 2 gin glasses there. He probably had company before he ended up getting accepted on the show. But this is what I'm on about. These people are carrying on like these people didn't have lives before them. So what if he had other women in his apartment? He's entitled to. Now, me, myself, I didn't even think I would be defending Val, but right now I am, because these people are carrying on like they're extra special or something, for fuck's sake. Anyway, we go on to Danny and Daniel. Danny meets Daniel's mother and Daniel's mother and his brother. Yeah, his brother. And actually, they all get on. They all get on with each other. Like, Daniel is really, really close to his family. and they're quite open. And as he said, he wants someone or any possible wife of his to be able to get on with his mother, especially. So yeah, there was nothing more to really say about that, because when them two were together, they clicked, they got along. You could see that they got along, and the mother liked her. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that one, because there isn't much more to say. So then we go on to Hainan and Agatha, and Agatha's going to meet Hainan's parents. Now, I don't think they're fully aware that Hainan's engaged at that point. So he went in and he spoke to them first, and Agatha was kind of waiting outside. So then she comes in, they all get introduced, they have a chat and everything like that. And it was really good. It was a good, nice family that she was meeting, because I think it was his dad, his mom, and then the grandmother. And you can tell that they think really, really highly of their son, like really highly of their son. And mom really did like Agatha as well. So then they were talking in terms of the marriage, and Paul Hainan said the words of, we will get married possibly. And Agatha was on the back foot looking as if to say, what the hell does that mean? So he cuts to Agatha's VC, and she literally asks the questions, what the hell did he mean by that? And you could see on Hainan's face the moment he thought, shit, gotta claw this shit back, because what did I say? What did I just say? So then he said, like, he will be getting, it's like, he will be getting married to her. He says he didn't mean it in that way. And I'm just like, my girl, the concept of the show is they don't have to say yes to you at that altar. Do you know what I mean? You could both be thinking along the lines of, you want to get married and this, that and the other. And he could have actual concerns about getting married to you, but he don't have to say yes to you at that altar. I think in the program itself, they do kind of get the contestants or the people or the whatever you want to call them, the couples, to not let out whether they're going to say yes or no at these early stages. It literally is kind of guesswork. But yeah, he don't have to say yes to the altar, and she needs to stop taking offense to every little thing that he says, because he's literally caught in like a web. Every time he says something, she, like, as if to say, questions it. He's like, and then it's kind of like she kind of have to pull this back, so he has to kind of then bring out a reasoning as to what he meant in terms of what he said. Then you go to Danny and Daniel, and it's his birthday basically, and Danny wants to do something special. So then she kind of leaves the apartment because his mum comes over to say happy birthday to him. She was in the neighborhood, so she came over, and then she left. And then, because I should have went previously, because what had happened, Danny and Daniel were having a conversation in regards to their places and where they live, and that Danny's place is quite small, and she does tend to like be free and easy and like to walk around sometimes in her underwear and naked if possibly, but then she might be giving the neighbours a show, so she doesn't think anything of it. So Daniel is literally on the back foot. He don't like that. He doesn't like it at all. Like, even asking her why can't she cover up and stuff like that, to that point. That's how I'm seeing it anyway. He doesn't like it at all. So then he has this conversation with his mum. This is when Danny has left the flat, and this is why I say sometimes Daniel needs to have these conversations with Danny, and not say one thing to her face and then kind of say another thing to someone else. So he's basically saying to his mum that he's not happy with the fact that in her space she likes to be kind of free and easy and sometimes be naked or wander around in her underwear. And I'm just like, I think he says it's kind of like a manners thing, and then that's where the mum agreed to as well. And I'm just like, you see, you were making strides and then you fall back right into your ways. I understand that you're concerned in the fact that this is what she does, but if she's in her own home, then why can't she just skill out however she wants to? If the neighbours have a problem with it, that's their problem, what they're looking at her for, do you know what I mean? Or maybe the neighbours are thinking of getting a good show. Or maybe it's a case of they really can't see that fucking far into her apartment, do you know what I mean? But he's not giving that the benefit of doubt. He just wants her to stop it. So he don't do that. If the neighbours come and complain, I think he did in his apartment, and the neighbours came and complained, so he stopped doing it completely, or he shut the curtains. And she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to be pending all this, that and the other. But I think in that sense, they probably have to come to some type of compromise. But as again, you can let me know what you think in the comment section. Basically, his mum asked him if he was thinking of moving and that he would move down closer to Danny. But then he thought that he wants to stay close to his mum. And his mum was quite good in that sense, where she says, well, no, you have your own life and you'll have your own wife to deal with. You don't have to stay close to me. She says, I'm fine by myself, just as long as you come and visit me, and I'll come and visit you. But you need to be able to make your own path. Yes, I love you, you're my son, you're always going to be my son, and I'm always going to be your mum, but you don't have to literally be trying to take care of me, because I can take care of myself, is in essence of what she said to him. And that is a good thing. That is a really, really good thing to say, because I was a little bit worried when Daniel turned around and said that his mum is his best friend and his partner. And I was like, what? His partner? Your mum, you see your mum as your partner? I was a little bit worried about Daniel when he did say that. But I am glad that his mum had that like conversation with him and made him see that, you know, I'm gonna always be your mum. Yes, you like to put me first, but there's times where you won't be able to, because you'll have a wife to contend with, and that's who you're going to have to put your all into as well. So then it comes to the party time, and I'm just thinking to myself, oh God, what's gonna transpire with all of these together again? All of them together again, knowing half of them don't really like each other. So basically, Agatha changed her hair, put her wig on, so now she's known as Tiffany. Tiffany came out to play. Tiffany weren't broken no argument. She came out to play and be flirty. She did look good, to be fair. So then, as it happens, the couples were coming in. You see Val actually hug Maria and say, like, hey, gorgeous, and then hugs Menandro. Now, first impressions when Val does that, didn't think anything of it whatsoever, because Karen had said it to Agatha when she first came in, gave her a hug and said, hey, gorge. The same thing to Maria. He didn't do it to Agatha, which was quite telling, but he did do it to Maria. But Maria accepted it and said hey, and then walked off into the room. Didn't say no if, no buts, no maybes about it. So then, as they do, the boys go in one corner, girl goes in one corner. Each of them gushing in about their marriages as they do, and then walks the birthday boy, Danny and Daniel. So basically, Danny tells the girls that they've finally got it in. She's getting laid, and they all clapped, as I did, give them a round of applause. And like, everybody was happy and having a fun time. So, you know, Val's talking to Daniel, and like, they're talking about sex and how great it is, and Daniel's just kind of said that he's not told Danny that he loves her outside of the experiment, outside of the pod yet, but he's the type of person where he gets things stuck in his throat, but he does want to say it to her. So as time goes on, he will say it to her at some point, I believe. So what happens then is Menandro is short. He's a short man. He's a short man. And Karen and Agatha are quite tall. So they were doing this whole thing. And like, Maria was stood, I think, in front of Menandro at the time, joining in with the game itself. And like, they says, oh, pretend that Agatha comes in, and the screen comes back, and this is Agatha first meeting with Menandro. So you got Agatha going, Menandro, and Menandro going, Agatha, where are you? So it was quite funny, and Maria was having a laugh with it. So then it moves to Karen saying, oh, you know, if me and you were ever put together, that could never work. That's what Karen said. It could never work because you're too short, basically. I'd need someone with height. Maria didn't like that. She didn't like what Karen said. So basically, she thought Karen was making a joke of Menandro when she wasn't. And then my point is, but Maria, you were joining in with the fun, and Menandro wasn't offended by it at all because the man knows he's short and he's self-assured in himself. It doesn't faze him. But yeah, she got pissed at Karen, like proper pissed at Karen. So then when she got pissed at Karen, what she then did is then go grab Menandro and then try and tell Menandro how Valmir was coming onto her, like, I don't like it. Didn't you see when we came in and he hugged me? And then he said, hey, gorgeous. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way. And I'm like, hold on a minute. So no, I'm like, none of that happened. So because you're pissed at Karen in terms of how she made you feel about the thing with Menandro, you're now gonna switch it around and say that Val has made you feel uncomfortable by doing X, Y, and Z when he didn't do what you're saying. Yes, he gave you a quick hug and said, hey, gorgeous, but it wasn't to the extent that you're trying to build it out to be. And that's the kind of thing that I didn't like. I didn't like when I saw that and heard that in regards to what Maria was trying to do there. He turns around, so she decides that they're leaving, they're going, she's had enough now. So Menandro and her leave and they're sitting at the table and Maria is going off and going off and going off and Menandro's quite quiet. So then she like turns to him and says, ain't you got anything to say to us? And he's like, no, I'm just here listening to you and letting you get it out. So basically he tells her that he believes her. And I'm thinking, Menandro, no, there's a reason why she's being the way that she's being, and at the end of the day I think it's kind of underhanded that she would do that she would make it a big issue with Val literally giving her a hug and saying, hey, gorgeous. He didn't grab her up, he wasn't inappropriate, he wasn't doing anything else. After that, he didn't have no contact with Maria at all. So for her to come out with all this bullshit that Val's doing this or Val said this is absolutely flipping ridiculous, because at the end of the day, the person that you are pissed at, you should have pulled aside and have a chat with them. Don't do shit like that is what I'm saying. But as again, yous like can let me know what you thought if you've watched that episode. And as I said, she wanted him to talk, but she's not allowing him to really get out what he needs in that sense. And as he keeps saying, we've always talked about these issues and we agree on them. So it's no use going back through the issues and keep reworking them. What else more do you want me to say? Which is true. What more do you want him to say? Because you're saying the same thing over and over and over again, but you're not doing anything to resolve the issue that you have, except to keep bending his ear all 24/7 and expecting him to say something different. I don't know what Maria expects him to say, but again, I just don't know which planet some of these people come from, to be fair, because I know I won't be, some of these people are good to deal with some of the shit that they're coming out with, because I know I won't be able to deal with it. So I go to Karen and Val, and Karen meets Val's family and meets the famous grandmother, and they're all, again, they're lovely with her. They are lovely with her and they're lovely with him in that sense. So except they like, you know, they didn't know that Val could be a certain way, and they're looking at him through new eyes in the way that he is with Karen, and they're quite happy that he's met her, Hainan and Agatha. And basically Hainan, again, they look like they're doing okay from, you know, flipping notice board gate, as I'll call it. They look like they're doing okay. But then Hainan is doing voice recordings, and Agatha says, please don't do me no voice recordings because it's irritating. I'll probably listen to the first few seconds and then, or I'll scroll through and get to the point that you're making, listen to that, and then that'll be the end of it. So he was like, hold on a minute. He said, I sent you voice messages in the pods. I didn't even know they could do that, because they ain't supposed to have their phones in the pods, as I'm aware. But apparently he sent her voice notes when they're in the pods, and he was saying to her, so didn't you listen to them? And she was like, well, yeah, of course I did. And I'm thinking, no, you bloody didn't. If that's what you just told him, no, you didn't. Now, me, myself, I would prefer a voice note rather than a 4-page letter in a flipping text. But you can let me know what you think about that. I think it's quite more irritating looking at a big old freaking line of text than it is listening to what you've got to say in a voice note and just being able to answer back. But that's just my thing. So they go and they meet Agatha's friends, and basically they think that the experiment is crazy, but she's got a cool group of friends, you know. She has got a cool group of friends. So again, she goes in first, and then Hainan comes in afterwards, and they're quite rather taken with Hainan because they believe that Hainan is like a double of her, and that they suit with each other. So they're asking him questions, and he's answering them, giving good answers to them, to be fair, and they're like, okay, and they're taking it on board, and they're actually liking him. So basically that's all I can say on that like, you know, Hainan did presented well with her friends. They liked him, they all got on, they had a good night. So in the next bit as well, Maria meets Menandro's daughter, and they actually do get on. Maria's actually quite good with his daughter. They actually do get on, and that's nice to see. But I think my only standoffish thing would be is, do you really want someone to meet your daughter that you don't know at the moment if you're going to go ahead and say yes at the altar? Because my thing, I would have to be so self-assured that this is the person I'm going to end up with at the end of this. So yes, you could meet my child, but I know that full blank is, you probably would not meet my child, and definitely not through this experiment. So that I thought that bit was a little bit weird, that they would allow for Maria to meet Menandro's daughter. Because I'm just like, because children are precious at the end of the day, and they will click with those that they are akin to, or they like, or they see something in them that they really like, and like, yes, I could be your best friend type thing. But my thing is I don't think that was the right environment to bring that child into, for them to meet the person. This person is kind of like a stranger to them. You've met them in the pods, and you're going it through this process, and you don't know if you'll be getting married to that person at the end of it. So and I just think it's such a big thing. It's just such a big thing, meeting someone's child. So yeah, I would have erred on the side of caution with that one, to be fair. But as I say, that's me done with this episode. So I will leave it here, and I'll be back soon with the next 2 episodes. As I always say, my renegades, it was lovely talking to you again. And if you can hit that subscribe button, notification button, so when you know I do my next video, and I'll be back, and I'll speak to you all soon. Peace out.